Welcome to Alchemy Avenue, where we transform in real time, trust the vibe, and grow on purpose. This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement, a reminder that you don't need fixing, just unlocking. Around here, we laugh, we build, we heal, and we elevate, all powered by that deep inner knowing that says, this is exactly where I'm meant to be. You were made for this version of you, so let's expand, let's enjoy it, and let's keep becoming who we already are. Tap in. This is Alchemy Avenue. Welcome back to another powerful and amazing episode. What we're going to get into today is you're not letting go, you've outgrown it. You're meeting what protected you. Now that you've outgrown it, how do you release it correctly? And again, correctly for you. How do you release it without any resistance and able to move forward, with power and clarity? So again, what made me get into this topic and what made me kind of do a lot of, again, every time we talk, I'm always doing some kind of self-evaluation. That's how a lot of the topics come about. There are parts of me, parts of us, that overthink, shut down, people please, stay guarded, avoid certain situations, need control, stay hyper aware. And for a long time, I thought that was just who I was. But what if it wasn't? What if those were different ways that we had to protect ourselves? And not only that, what if the deeper you go in your growth, the more sophisticated these protections become? And that's what the question was, because you do your work and you have been working on yourself, but then it seems like the deeper you go, the more you find, and not even that, the more you find, the systems that are in place seem way more craftier and sophisticated than you could even imagine. So that's why certain things still come up in different ways, different patterns and different ways that you express how you feel. And you have to determine for yourself, is this still serving me or is it not? And how do I let that go? So something I really started to understand is that these different habits, patterns, identities, and they really became like deep protections. Things that I have been operating for years or maybe my entire life. And I thought they were me, but again, they were just safeguards that I put in place because of maybe my environment and maybe what I was taught and how I felt I had to be in those environments when I was younger. So the deeper you go, the older the patterns you meet. And this part here matters as you become more aware, more aligned, more intentional. These protections, they don't disappear, they actually evolve as well. So protections become sophisticated. This is where people get confused because I thought, at least, I've already done the work. I've outgrown this. I know better now, but these deeper protections, they're not obvious. They're super subtle, and they're very intelligent. They're interwoven in what I thought was my personality. So some of my deepest protections, they don't feel like protections. They feel like just, again, part of my personality and part of who I am, the fabric that makes up me. Because they show up as like logic, preferences, discernment, and this is just how I am. And if you're not aware, you won't question. It's not that it's not a part of you, but some of these patterns come up and they just don't make sense anymore. And even though you've always done it, even though you've thought that way for a very long time, it's starting not to make sense for where you're at now. That's when you know, oh wow, okay, I thought I dealt with this in this way, which we have, but now you have found a way or seen another way that programming can show up. That's why this work of evolving and reimagining who you are is an ongoing work. Not to say that you're fighting a useless fight. Don't see it as not a fight. It's just growth. It's just continual growth because we the programming and everything that we've been through when we were younger worked, and it and I hate to say this, but it worked too well. It worked too well. So now we have to unpack all of that because we were so open and so ready to be here and experience life that we didn't know to guard ourselves or no, I don't want to do that. Some people do. Some people have that emotional intelligence young. A lot of us do not because of our environment. This is what we know. This is how we've always done things. From the people that again didn't know no better and didn't get a chance to work on themselves. So what does actually looks like? Let's make this real because this doesn't always look obvious. It evolves. So you might have been quick to anger. Now you're not as reactive, but when it does come up, it hits a lot deeper and you question it. That's how you know, okay, this is not serving me because you question, why has this affected me this much? Okay, I did not like whatever that happened and I got angry. But why is it the effects of it, the residue of it, I'm still holding on to it. That's where you have to investigate more on why does it affect me and where did that come from? Am I still dealing with being angry even though I'm getting angry less? I still go to that space whenever I do, and a lot of times it's not as serious as I'm making it internally. So you might be you might have been very guarded. Now you more open, but you still keep a slight distance that feels like protection. Again, you question it. That's how you know that it's not serving you the way that you thought because you question it after the interaction. So you might have been a people pleaser. Now you say no, but you still feel the need to over-explain yourself. That's when you know. So you might have been an overthinker. Now you trust yourself more, but you still revisit decisions later. You still ask yourself and repeat in your mind, did I make the right decision? Did I really do what I thought I should have done? Should I move the other way? You get in a space where you still worry yourself. That's how you know, okay, this is not serving me. This is not serving me. So you might have been avoided. Now you show up, but you still hold back your full expression. You might have been controlling. Now you go with the flow, but you still internally try to try to predict every situation. So it didn't disappear. It really just refined itself. And for clarification, so I don't want people to think because I'm talking about having discernment and I'm not talking about having boundaries. I'm not talking about reading the room or removing yourself from situations that don't align. That's not what I mean. What I'm talking about is what happens after the situation. You can make the right decision, you can set boundaries, you can walk away, you can handle it correctly for you, but then afterwards you still think about still replaying it, still feeling it, still slightly uneasy, still wondering, did I handle the situation right? Was that too much? Should I have did something different? So I just want to clarify that because we all need to have discernment and be able to be aware of situations and again have our boundaries. But you replaying it over and over and still making yourself feel bad for your decision. That's what I mean. That's what I mean is that you're past the point where you thought you should have did the right thing for you. You've done it. Now be happy and trust yourself that you made the right decision. Be in that space. But again, that's what I mean, that those different aspects of yourself, the deeper you go, they're more sophisticated. They have got more intelligent in how they show up. Again, it's just continual work. So continue to the great work that you're doing within yourself, because we have all done a fantastic job to make it into this space mentally, because a lot of us have been through so much, and again, so much is different for everybody, but you've been through what you've been through, and for you to still be able to smile, laugh, love yourself, love others, take care of your responsibilities with joy, clarity, and peace, you're doing a phenomenal job. When I say phenomenal, I mean phenomenal times 10, because it's different. It's so many different ways you could have been, but you're in a space where you genuinely love who you are, and now you get to build from that. That's more powerful than anything. So, so it's not the decision what lingers after the decision, because your actions have evolved, but your internal response is still recalibrating. You can make the right decision, but still carry the wrong feeling afterwards, and that's what we're looking at here. So, identity versus survival coding, and this is where it connects for me. A lot of what we call identity is actually survival coding. Okay, survival coding. Things we learn to stay safe, to be accepted, to avoid pain, to navigate environments, and over time, that becomes our identity, because it's something we feel we had to do. Why wouldn't I want to protect myself? Why wouldn't I want to have things in place so when situations happen, because again, we're so smart and we're so intelligent that once certain things happen and they happen long enough, we invent in our minds, and for our emotional stability, we invent these walls and invent these patterns to better help us deal with just life, So some of what that is, we think is our identity, but it is how we had to survive and how we learned to survive. So now, you're not just changing behavior, you're separating who you are now for what you had to become. So this level requires patience though. And that's why the stage feels different, because you can shift things quickly, but now you're dealing with deeper layers, long-standing patterns, more embedded identities. This is not harder, it's just deeper. That's why it feels a little more unsettling whenever you get into this space, because it has been so much a part of you, and a deeper work doesn't require more force. In my opinion, it doesn't require more force. It requires a lot more patience with yourself. Deeper doesn't mean more effort, it means more patience. Stop making yourself the enemy is the biggest thing, I think, from this episode. The biggest thing to me is do not make yourself, or stop making yourself, the enemy. This is the most important part. When you see these patterns clearly, because again, once you trust yourself and you're in a space where, like we've been talking about the last several weeks, you see everything you do, you see it more clearly, and it's easy to turn on yourself. It's easy to do that, because you think, I should have been past this shouldn't still be here. But the moment you treat yourself like the enemy, you create more resistance, more tension, more chaos. There is no part of you that is your enemy. No part. Those parts served you. They protected you. They helped you navigate whatever you had to navigate in your life. So whatever issues and problems that you had to deal with, you created those safeguards for you at the moment, at those times. And it did. It helped you out. It got you to where you're at now. So no need to vilify demon, let's call it a demon, or even try to kill that portion of you. You stand in gratitude for that, because you would not have made it as far as you made it right now without those tools that you developed. But the key thing is that you can create new tools. You just can choose not to pick them up anymore. That's really what you can do. If you were smart enough and intelligent enough to make those adjustments on the fly, to protect yourself. You can now make new adjustments on the fly to better help evolve who you want to be. And you can only answer that. Only you can answer. No one else can answer that for you. So the right way to release. So how do you release them? Not by fighting them, not by forcing them, not by rejecting them, but by understanding them, acknowledging them, and allowing it to leave. Allowing those versions and that situation to leave. You don't remove those parts by force. You release them through understanding. And for now, so for me now, it's not even a fight. The most natural thing I can do is just let it go. That's what I can do. A lot of things that I used to be and just how I handle things, I can let them go because now I understand who I am and how I want to move. Again, I feel like I just have a new foundation and I can build what I want to build, but it's still parts of me that I'm like, okay, no, I don't want to do it like that no more. It doesn't serve me in a harmonious way that I want to be. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. And not saying that now that you're going to be perfect, you're going to not do certain things. No, you still have the things because you have your personality. You still have those things that you just don't like or you just like, nah. No, you're still going to have those things, but it's just how you deal with them and how you show up and choose to react to any situation. And now I'm standing on something new, a new foundation, clear, open, nothing cluttered, and I'm just standing there like, I like it here. And again, like I mentioned last week and throughout this episode, you get to build what you want to build now once you have this new foundation. And again, you get to have a choice on how you move and how you want to operate. Whatever you want to build it, and be excited about it. Don't say, well, I guess I can do this. No, you can do all of it. But now I understand something deeper too. I'm not building from survival anymore. I'm building from clarity. When survival is no longer driving you, creations become intentional. You're not creating from fear, doubt, mistrust. You're creating from a wonderful place of clarity and a powerful place of clarity. Because now you know exactly what you want, and now you get to really sit and brainstorm and create and be excited about what you create. So learn to sit in this space. And here's something else I had to learn. You have to learn how to sit in this space because when you spent so much time fixing, processing, surviving, you get used to movement. So when things become still, you can feel that stillness can feel super unfamiliar. Sometimes the challenge isn't getting out of chaos, it's learning how to exist without it. Seriously. It's learning how to exist without chaos around you. And if you're not aware, you'll try to fill that space, but you don't have to. You don't have to. Again, if you don't, that's your choice. You don't have to. If you feel led to go ahead and move and get busy with certain things, do that. But allow yourself the stillness, the opportunity to be still, to better understand what is it that you really want to do. You don't have to rush to build just because you finally have space. You really don't. So you're not behind, you're not stuck. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just deeper in the process that you've never been in this space before. So at this level, it's not about forcing change. It's not about rushing yourself. It's about it's definitely not about turning on yourself as well. So understand that part. You definitely do not want to turn on yourself because you are all you got. So you definitely don't want to make yourself the enemy. You don't need to do that at all. Because every pattern you had, every protection you built, every way you learned to move served you at some point. It truly did. And now you're just in a space where you can say, you're in a space where you can say and you see things clearly. Okay, I don't need that version or that protection anymore. I don't need it like that. How do I evolve it? And you made that decision. And when you can see something clearly, you don't have to fight it anymore. You can understand it, acknowledge it, and release it without creating more resistance inside yourself, because real growth doesn't look like pressure. It looks like clarity. And clarity allows you to move differently, not because you are trying to be different, but because you actually are. So if you're noticing things right now, patterns, reactions, just subtle behavior that you don't fully align with anymore, don't rush to get rid of it. Don't turn that into a problem, and don't turn yourself into the enemy. Just see them, understand it, and let go when you're ready to let it go. That's why meditation and just get in a space of just stillness and be able to just unpack what you're thinking. That's where this comes in super handy. A lot of people say they can't. Well, some people I know say they can't meditate because I think sometimes we want to clear our mind, but we got so much going on in our head, which is fine. I like to just let those things play out. I don't stop them. I let them play out. And then I get to the space of what is it that I really want answers on at this moment. And that's what I focus on. And I clear my mind of the things that are just thoughts that just keep coming. Let those come. And then I focus on, okay, I noticed this about myself. Let me get more clarity on that. Why? Okay, this is why I do it. This is why I've done it. This is where I learned it from. Okay, how do I want to be now? So I ask those questions in meditation, and it works out well for me. Again, I'm not saying I'm perfect, not by any means, and you're not going to be perfect. But again, once you're aware of those situations, then you can actually do something about them in real time. Because again, the fact that you can see it now means you've already grown past anything that's holding you back or anything that you feel yourself you need to change. All right, don't forget, Alchemy Avenue Talks and co-creation build. So hit me up, email alchemyavenue859 336-464-7881, call or text. And then on TikTok, the Alchemy Avenue, Instagram, Alchemy Avenue. Don't forget the 11x17 light code prints for any aspect of your life. So protection, clarity, peace, grounding, expansion. So connect with me. I got a few messages about a few things, so I've already responded. So just let me know. We'll go from there. So remember, love yourself so you can love others. Ashe.